Well, howdy there. I'm Sean. Thank you for joining me, all my favorite men, women, and of course, y'all modern cavemen. Welcome to another episode. Today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite cowboy guns that started all the way back in 1893, or renditions of the 336, but now in the big league. All right, but before we get into this, I gotta do a huge shout out to the ones that provided me this for a demo, and that's Italian Sporting Goods, located in, of course, Vancouver, British Columbia. Any of my Canadian friends looking to buy a firearm, please look them up. They've got amazing customer service. They provide most of the gun, unless I currently own it myself, as well as the ammunition for me to be able to test all these things and not have to worry about the manufacturing being choked if I don't like it. So please reach out to them. Thanks again. I digress. Let's get on with the gun. I mentioned it before, just to give a little bit of a background on the 336, because I've never done a video on it before. This actually originates from the model 1893, which started between 1893 and around 1936. I could be off a couple years. And then transitioned to the model 36 and now to the 336. This came out and did really well against the Winchester 94, which is probably the most popular lever action of all time. And one of the main reasons for that is the place that it injects and why the popularity of it is today versus obviously price point has something to do it too with the Winchester 94. It's less complicated gun, probably just as accurate. My eyes looks just as good. But one of the main beneficial factors of this is the fact that when it ejects, and of course we've cleared, proved and safe, everything's good here. But when it ejects, the cartridge ejects out of the side, whereas the Winchester comes off the top, so it's much harder to mount any kind of optics. As you can tell, obviously back in 1893, they weren't even thinking about that because optics wasn't even something that was coming into play. But these days it's something huge. When I was shooting it a little bit earlier, these type of sights I personally can't stand, but that is what it is. But yeah, they all come basically drilled and tapped, ready to mount any kind of scope system that you want. The other upside of this versus the Winchester 94, and this is not a Winchester bashing session, just some of the upsides, is the fact that this pretty much has the full pistol grip, right? And it allows to do that because of how it opens up. Whereas if you're going to look at the more traditional Winchester style, it's more of a straight back flat stock, right? So those are the upsides. It's a little bit of the history. Obviously it shoots the 30-30 Win. It also comes in a 35 Remington, I believe still, but it definitely was designed with that originally. Okay, so let's talk about this particular edition. Well, it's pretty cool. The glass has made a much better grouping, so it looks like I got to adjust the sight, but for freehand, the 4 rounds, 1, and then the other 3 that I had right here. So that overall for a freehand group, you can see them over here, is a lot better than the trailing one I had up earlier. So glasses help, FYI. But no, really smooth gun. I'm not a huge fan of the sighting system on it. I would change it, but everything else is like butter. All right, so let's start from the front to back like we usually do. So the barrel is gonna be a blued barrel, that's the steel and all. It has a new rifling system that they've been bragging about lately. It felt good when I was shooting it. Accuracy-wise, I wasn't doing any bench shooting, so off the top of my head, like you guys can see, this is definitely not an accuracy review, because freehand shooting at 50 to 100 yards with these eyes, yeah. Anyways. So what it does come with though, which is kind of cool, is they call it the micro groove. It's a patent that they have. It's 12 grooves, even though it's a 1 in 10 twist. The barrel itself is 18.5 inches, which is a pretty good length, very flexible, usable. It's very similar to like the guide gun feel that you guys have seen my reviews in the past. I'm a huge fan of. One of the also upsides of this, it does, and when we get into it, it holds 6 rounds because the tube is so long and matching, which is really nice. I find having a 6+1 is really cool and handy, especially in a small compact gun like this. It has a laminate steel, so it's really good quality. It feels good in your hand. This does not feel like a flimsy gun. You know, I'm shaking it around and all I'm getting is a little bit of sight movement. It doesn't feel like it's junk by any means. It's well put together. I mentioned before that it does have the buckhorn, or I call it whale tail sights. It is adjustable and everything. Myself, if I could change anything, and it's good that it does have it drilled and tapped, I would be putting an optic on it. That's something that I would definitely be doing this. I prefer those ghost ring sights that you see on a lot of the new versions of the Marlins, the 1895, 336 versions, like the Dark Series, all that kind of stuff. But if you're used to this, I mean, this has been around forever and a half. I'm sure somebody can shoot incredibly accurate with it. For my eyes, my personal thing, I would be scrapping that right off the hop if this was my personal gun. All right, so not the greatest shooting. I actually shot, when I shot the open sight ghost ring on the 444, I had much better grouping on the first round. With my astigmatism, just a heads up, if I were to have this gun personally, I'd have to put some kind of sight on it. It's all drilled and tapped for it, so you're good to go. But you can see, like, I was on target, but just like with that whale tail sight, it's kind of hard for me to see it with my wuggly eyes. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, freehand at 50 yards. So I mean, they're all kill shots if it was a deer there. But for myself, if you have issues with your eyes like I do, I wasn't wearing prescriptions this time, then yeah, I would recommend an open sight if that's something that you're gonna do. But next to that, felt great. So moving a little bit further back, like we already went over the side ejecting ports. I'm not gonna go over the full 336, everything inside. This is more about this rendition and edition. Generous butt pad. I mean, they don't kick a lot, the 30-30s anyways, so that's nice on that side. Obviously, you already have your swivels already put in there, which is nice. So you got to just strap a sling on and you're ready to rock. The overall weight is similar to a lot of the other big loops. It's about 7.5 pounds, give or take. Now that we got the new gizmo, let's take a look at, well, actually, let's pull the trigger first and see how that feels. So my 1895 SBL is 4.5. The 1895 Dark Series 444 that I shot was about 5.25. This feels a little bit heavier. Let's see if I'm right or wrong. Still really nice, crisp. I mean, there's nothing you can go wrong with that in general. Okay, let's check this. Let's check this out. Haha, I was right. 6 pounds. Let's try it one more time. That was 4 pounds. Let's try it one more time. £6 pounds again. So yeah, it looks like it's closer to, maybe I'm just not getting the full fulcrum point on there, but comparatively I measured it the same as the other one. It's about 6 pounds. So it's a little bit heavier, not overly dramatic. Like I said, these are not generally rifles that people are shooting 200, 300 yards out. That being said, I'm a big fan of the new ammunition that you can shoot out there, like the Lever Evolution. I shoot pretty much in my 45-70s, that exclusively. It's just way flatter shooting. None of the game that I've shot at ever walked away from them. So I definitely highly recommend those if you're in the market for any of these guys. All right, so final impressions. If you're looking to get a great deer gun, accurate, reliable, you're a fan of lever action, you definitely want to have a mounting. You need a scope. You got eyes like me and you need to be able to have something scoped on there. I would definitely recommend taking a look at this. I'm a massive fan. It's turning into a little bit of a fanboy when it comes to the big loops. I just find it a lot easier to use and work. I actually, funny enough, shot the regular loop. That I find it's a little bit faster because you don't have as much movement in between. But I would say 99% of the time I'm out hunting, I got a glove. Not that the other one won't work, but I just like the opportunity. It just feels better. I don't ever have anything on my knuckles. Yeah, I would, if I'm looking for a 336, this would be the one I'd be looking at right now for sure. So quality-wise, price-wise, stuff you're getting for your bang for your buck, I really truly think that this is a pretty cool gun. Downsides, you know, I don't really see, there isn't really any downsides to it per se. I think the only time you'd be looking for something different, if you want a more classical gun, like a Winchester 94, that's a different beast all in itself. There are Henry rifles that are gorgeous as well. So some guns I would say have better finishings in comparison to this, like stainless steel, maybe better quality woods, better designed, even though this even has checkering and stuff. So if you're looking for something fancier, there's definitely fancier stuff out there. But if you're looking for something to, you know, shoot some deer with, one of my buddies just shot a beautiful moose with a 30-30, so it's definitely enough knockdown power for mostly everything out there. I would definitely take a look at the 336 30-30 Marlin in Big Loot. Anyways, thanks guys. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.